You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. We've often talked about on this show, folks, what happens when you make decisions late. One of the reasons why Mayor Mario King is talking about the lack of leadership with the Republican governor in Mississippi. Same thing is happening in terms of what really happened with this administration in the early parts. We really knew since January what was really going on here. But the problem is what then began to take place when you had events in February and March. Now, look at the Black Enterprise Women of Power Summit. Several people have gotten sick as a result of being there. Same thing happened with the National Brotherhood of Skiers, America's largest organization dedicated to supporting and developing winter athletes of color. They hosted their National Ski Summit in Sun Valley, Idaho from February 29th to March 7th in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic. More than 600 people were there. Well, Michael Harriot with The Root writes that a number of people have now tested positive for coronavirus and have gotten sick. He joins us right now. Michael, this is one of those things that, again, if you had an administration that took this thing seriously in January and then begin to tell people do not have these mass gatherings of people in February or March, we wouldn't be here. I think back to the fact that February 14th through the 17th, I was at NBA All-Star Game in Chicago. Mass gathering, thousands of people there. This took place, and I remember Senator Kamala Harris put a video on her page on February 12th where the Trump administration people did not show up to a hearing that they had, the National Department of Homeland Security Committee hearing. That's on February 12th. But it was really the third week in February when this thing really began to pick up. And these groups still met, and now people are paying the price for these gatherings.
Right. I think if people would have known in advance, they may have made alternate decisions. But again, the government and the people who really knew how dangerous this coronavirus was didn't inform the people. We knew, we know that Burr and senators and the Trump administration and CDC officials were telling the Trump administration as far back as January, but they didn't make actions, mostly because they wanted to keep the markets intact. And so it may be that many of these people who are now sick wouldn't have come down with this illness if not for the inaction of the Trump administration.
Talk about what you have learned when it comes to people who have been impacted, who've gotten sick from that skiers event.
So far, we have about a half a dozen people who have tested positive for coronavirus, and over 100 people who have been sick with flu-like symptoms. And the numbers are still rolling in. Of course, these people were from all around the world. Really, there were 40 people who were sick from London, England. You have people who were sick from California. 37 members of one group were sick, 40 out of 55 attendees from another group. So the numbers are still rolling in, but we do have a half a dozen confirmed cases of coronavirus. We don't know how many of those people have been tested, but we do know that at least 100 of those people have reported that they have had flu-like symptoms.
And Michael, this type of gathering is part of the problem when you have people who are coming from all over the country. So then what then happens is you may be from another country, and then you're not sick, but you go to this event, and all of a sudden you now go home, and then you begin to infect other people. I remember seeing a graph of a woman in South Korea, an older woman. Doctors told her to get tested. She ignored getting tested. She then went to a church service near the hospital. Then she went to a buffet. They said they had 30 some odd cases of people in South Korea. She was number 31. This woman was responsible for infecting more than 1,000 people.
Well, you think about, this kind of a gathering, this large of a gathering, right, with people from all around the world. think about the number of flights that those people were on with other people who weren't attending a ski summit, other people who might not have come into contact with those people who had coronavirus. We definitely know some of them, at least 6 people, all from 6 different groups, right? So you can imagine that none of those people were from Idaho where the event was held. So you would imagine that they took flights back to their homes.
Well, speaking of Idaho,
all of the people on the
speaking of Idaho, the governor today. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, all the people on the flights with those people are now subjected to coronavirus.
Oh, not just flights, but also every restaurant they went into, every other public place they went into. You name it, it also had all the impact. Not only that, you've spoken of Idaho. Guess what? The governor of Idaho today ordered a shelter in place for the entire state. What we are seeing, Michael, we're seeing governors who are saying, I can't trust what the hell is happening in Washington, D.C. I've got to protect my own people.
Right. If you compare the numbers in Idaho with the numbers of people who attended that conference, the number of people who have come down with coronavirus from that conference who have tested positive now is more than 10% of Idaho's total cases. So imagine how that's spreading.
Michael Harriot with The Root. We surely appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for having
me. All right, folks, back to our video in just one moment. All right, so a lot of y'all always asking me about some of the pocket squares that I wear. Now, Robert don't have one on. Nope. Now, I don't particularly like the white pocket squares. I don't like even the silk ones. And so I was reading GQ magazine a number of years ago, and I saw this guy who had this pocket square here, and it looks like a flower. This is called a shibori pocket square. This is how the Japanese manipulate the fabric to create this sort of flower effect. So I'm going to take it out and then place it in my hand so you see what it looks like. And I said, man, this is pretty cool. And so I tracked down, it took me a year to find a company that did it. And so they basically about 47 different colors. And so I love them because, again, as men, we don't have many accessories to wear, so we don't have many options. And so this is really a pretty cool pocket square. Now, what I love about this here is you saw when it's in the pocket, it gives you that flower effect like that. But if I wanted to also, unlike because if I flip it and turn it over, it actually gives me a different type of texture. And so therefore it gives me a different look. So there you go. So if you actually want to get one of these shibori pocket squares, we have them in 47 different colors. All you got to do is go to rolandmartin.com/pocket squares. All right, so first of all, that graphic is way too small. So tomorrow we're going to run it right down here all across the screen. So it's rolandmartin.com/pocket squares. All you got to do is go to my website and you can actually get this. Now, for those of you who are members of our Bring the Funk fan club, there's a discount for you to get our pocket squares. That's why you also got to be a part of our Bring the Funk fan club. And so that's what we want you to do. And so it's pretty cool. So if you want to jazz your look up, you can do that. In addition, y'all see me with some of the feather pocket squares. My sister, who's a designer, she actually makes these. They're all custom made. So when you also go to the website, you can also order one of the customized feather pocket squares right there at rolandmartin.com/pocket squares. So please do so. And of course, it goes to support the show. And again, if you're a Bring the Funk fan club member, you get a discount. This is why you should join the fan club. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video. You want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so when we go live, you'll know it.